Good afternoon. So on Saturday, September 30th, shortly after 9 o'clock, Hickory Grove officers responded to 8812 Albemarle Road, which is the Taco Bell, in reference to an assault with a deadly weapon where there was injuries. Upon arriving, they found a victim who had suffered gunshot wounds to the body. Quickly treated him and had medic come in and address his needs, and had him sent off to the hospital. From there, officers got the information in regards to suspect details and went into action in regards who was actually located in that scene. From there, officers was able to identify the suspect and locate him further on several hours later in regards to the actual shooting. Once they actually located him at the residence, they were surrounded and had a call out and made a particular arrest on this particular subject from that time frame. Any questions?
How much our understanding is this was all over change. How much change exactly was there a disagreement over?
Well, to that point, what's one life worth? It's definitely not worth any change, and it's definitely not worth any meal or anything. So the focus was based on the egregious acts, and with that, we're going to do what we need to do in regards to any crime or violent crime that's directed towards any of our citizens here in Charlotte.
Can you tell us what the investigation revealed, as much as you can, about just kind of the narrative of what happened?
Well, I mean, another egregious situation where someone, without using their words or taking the time out to talk through something, there was this disturbance or a dispute where people didn't agree with each other, and it turned negative. So from there, that's how you ended up with someone being shot and almost losing their life.
I mean, specifically, what were they disagreeing about?
Well, the conversation, I couldn't tell you what the actual conversation was that they were disagreeing about, because the call for service that we received was based on someone being shot. So, I mean, unfortunately, it came down to that, where, again, words weren't being used and someone turned to a violent act with a gun.
But it's safe to say the suspect did not get the correct change he thought he was supposed to get back.
The suspect had an issue with the employees within the business, because they didn't come to terms on whatever it was that they were going back and forth over, and it escalated quickly.
And do you know, was that like $1, $5, a quarter, like what? Because it's a bizarre story, so I know everybody's kind of okay.
I understand this, but at the end of the day, I still go back to the same thing. What's a life worth? So whatever it is, it's not going to be enough to, result to killing somebody or actually shooting someone.
So you can't or won't say what the exchange was about change?
Not for the investigation, not specifically in the investigation.
Taco sauce?
Don't know the specifics of why he resulted in doing what he did.
How many times was the victim shot?
From my understanding, he was shot multiple times. I believe it was twice.
And as far as his dad, is there an update? I know medics said life-threatening, but we know that can mean
Yes, it's life-threatening.
And the twice, meaning that's how many rounds
he was shot twice.
But we don't know how many rounds went on.
No, not at this point.
And this was all inside, like by the counter, or can you tell like where exactly it was inside?
It actually occurred inside. The shooting occurred inside, but the suspect wasn't inside, so he shot into the restaurant.
Like through the drive-in window or something?
No, through the door.
Through the door.
So he did not enter the restaurant. He stood at the front door and shot into the restaurant?
At one point, he was in the restaurant. He left the restaurant and came back and then shot into the restaurant.
He came back and stood outside of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Shot inside.
Yeah. Now, whether or not he opened the door and shot inside, or whether or not he didn't shoot through the door. So I would assume that he actually opened the door and shot in.
So just so we all have the narrative correct, so he went through the drive-thru, there was a disagreement in the drive-thru, he circled around, parked his vehicle, there was a disagreement, and through the door, that's when the gunshots were exchanged.
That's correct. That's correct.
And how much did the suspect tell you all when you did eventually arrest him? Was he forthcoming about
He did.
what happened?
He was compliant with no issues. I mean, when he came out, he said it was him. So he gave us everything.
Were you surprised by that? Did he feel justified in some way, or that he had not broken the law?
Don't know how he felt about it in that manner, but you know, it's not normal when we usually get people to admit that they done wrong, especially in shooting someone or hurting somebody. But that leads us to believe that there's definitely something there that we're missing, that everybody's missing. Because just like you said, this is a bizarre situation. It's not unique, so there's probably more to it, and that would actually come from, you know, the suspect actually saying what triggered him from that point. But we can't speak to that.
Did the two of them have any previous, relationship? Did they know each other?
Not that we know.
Did the suspect frequent this Taco Bell?
Can't have no clue. Can't say if he did, if he does, or if he didn't. I mean.
Male victim, do we know how old?
The male victim, not age-wise. He was born in 55.
So in other words, you wouldn't know if he had a specific target.
Right. No, there's pretty much all the employees that were in, or if it was mainly the employees that were in the restaurant, they're all victims. Because, you know, it's just this particular person was the one that actually got shot. So it could have been anybody in there.
So I guess that's what we're asking, like, what exactly caused this? Because you do have innocent people in there that could have been
Right.
struck. If he's shooting through a door, someone could have been driving, or that bullet could have went through the restaurant and shot. There's a bunch of places around this. So I guess that's why we're trying to ask, like, what would
caused it?
someone to,
What caused it?
Yeah.
And that's the point that I was making. Like, at this point, we can't say what actually caused it because that was his reaction. I mean, you've gone through drive-thrus before. You've seen people pull off upset. You've seen people get what they want and say thank you and all types of emotions. This particular one was upset to the point where he just pulled off and came back in, and the confrontation that started in the driveway led into the building.
Were there non-employees in the restaurant? Were there other civilians in the restaurant?
As far as I know, it was employees.
Just all employees?
Yes.
Any lessons learned here, Major? Anything that you guys took away from this?
Well, I mean, one of the lessons is a life lesson. It's just that, you know, if you can take the time to take a deep breath, take a step back, regardless of what it is, and just have a genuine conversation with somebody, as opposed to being in your feelings or being upset with whatever you had going on. And if you had something going on, probably not the best opportunity for you to step out into the world if you're not feeling right. There's many resources out here that we all have options to use and utilize. So look to those resources first before you choose to try to take somebody's life or disrupt somebody's world.
Did the suspect, Mr. McLendon, did he have any previous criminal history?
Not that we know of, no.
And when you all got to the house, no issues arresting him, nothing, he came forward, he was pretty...
No problems, that's it.
Can you talk to you about how you were led to his house? Or led to where he was to arrest him?
From the information that we got from the actual investigation of the vehicle that he was in, when the patrol officers actually spotted the vehicle and was able to follow it and identify where it went to, which led us to him.
All right, very good. Thank you, Major.
Can you spell
Let's
your
explain
name
your
for
name
us?
for us real quick.
At the mic.
Okay.
All right, it's Torrey, Torri, last name Tellis, Tellis.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, y'all. That's all I have. We think we have the name out to y'all already, I believe, and all the other information, so appreciate it.
Was there any, like surveillance or anything that you all have or could give
I
as photos?
don't know.
Okay.
New at noon. Within the last 30 minutes, CMPD holding a news conference on a sexual assault that happened on McAlpine Creek Park back in 2022. It really shook this community. Last week, police arresting 28-year-old Khalil Bowler. They say he attacked a woman while she was jogging. WCNC Charlotte's Richard